Good morning, students. Welcome back. In our previous session, we discussed Myers-Briggs personality type indicator. So, in this session, we'll be discussing yet another personality trait or determinant, that is Big Five model. It is also called five-factor model and even Ocean model. So, this model was developed by a number of researchers from 1980 for a long period of time. So, in this model, there are basically five different traits which are identified, and unlike other model here, rather than categorizing an individual into one of the two categories, it gives a continuum. So, an individual's personality trait should fall anywhere on that given continuum. It's like frequency. If you have to decide a personality trait of a person as introvert or an extrovert only, like in earlier theories, here he can be slightly introvert or he can be more towards the extroversion. So it's a continuum, like a frequency band. So these five personality traits will tell you whether the person will be suitable for the job as well as for the organization based on where they fall in the continuum. So let's look into these traits one by one. So, like we already know, extraversion is for people who are very comfortable with dealing with other people and relationships. So, these are people who have high levels of energy, they are very positive, and they have this tendency to seek stimulation in company of others. So, that is extraversion. So, in your organization, it's always desirable to have people who are more towards the extraversion. And coming to the next trait, that is agreeableness. So agreeableness is a personality dimension which will tell you how good is someone. So someone who is very good natured, very cooperative and trustworthy, they come under this agreeableness. So they are on the higher side of the agreeableness. So any individual with low score on agreeableness will be very disagreeable, having conflicts with people, and will be very cold shouldered to people. So it's always preferable to have people who are scoring high on the agreeableness. And the next trait is conscientiousness. So people with this dimension, with this dimension we can measure the reliability of a person. So highly conscientious person, they'll be very responsible, very well organized, and they'll be dependable and they'll be consistent. So it's always desirable to have people who score high on conscientiousness. And those who score low on this dimension, they're very easily distracted, very disorganized, and you cannot rely on them for any work. So it's not preferable to have people who are low on conscientiousness. And the next trait is emotional stability. It's also called as neuroticism. So in this dimension, it types a person's ability to withstand stress. So people with positive emotional stability, they tend to be very calm, self-confident and secure in their workplace. Whereas those with negative score, they tend to be very nervous, anxious, depressed and insecure in their life as well as job. So emotional stability or neuroticism is a very important personality trait, especially at workplace. And coming to the last one, openness to experience. So people who are open to new experiences, they are very creative, highly creative people. They're very curious and they're artistically very sensitive. So those at the other end of this openness, they find comfort in things that are organized, very familiar, routine, monotonous things. So in organization which are driven by innovation, it's always good to have people who score high on openness to experience. So each of this personality trait, it does not fall in either of the categories, like the high end or the extreme low end. A person can fall in anywhere on this continuum. So this Big Five model, it's relatively very stable, and whatever personality traits discovered from this will be stable through most of the one's lifetime. Like for the longest time, they'll remain same. It will not change. And since they are influenced significantly both by genes and the environment of a person, so you can say 50% of it is hereditary, okay, or heritability. So And initially this model, it was actually discovered or curated to comprehend the relationship between personality trait and academic behavior of a person, but later they failed to do so, and they came up with 5 basic traits for a person, you know, to determine a personality of a person, and that would hold true for longest period of time. So this is about Big Five model or five factor model. It is also called as Ocean model, taking the acronym of each trait. O for openness to experience, C for conscientiousness, E for emotional stability, A for agreeableness, and N for which is neuroticism. So that's about Big Five model. Thank you.